into where someone decides where they're going to set roots if they have kids. And that's one of the reasons that Charlie and I have decided to set roots here and to raise our son here in Malacca. You can't have a strong community without a strong school. You can't have a strong chamber, a strong business community without a strong school, and vice versa. And so I really think that, just look at this partnership tonight. The fact that the Chamber of Commerce is putting on a forum on school district race, I think that that's a huge indicator of just how important the collaboration is between the school district and the chamber. I know the administration and the teachers are active participants with the chamber as well, and I think that that's a huge step forward. Additionally, the school is the next training ground for the next generation, not only for workers for this town and for the state, but for this country. And so I really feel that collaborations, I loved your idea about how do we get businesses to come and talk to the students and actively have them be hands-on participants in the businesses in this community. I think that's a great seed for some additional ideas there. And so I really do believe that this partnership between the chamber and the school district is really important.
Thank you. The fourth question came from the audience, and it is, what are your ideas on preventing handling of bullying? We're going to start with Mr. Schulberg.
Bullying is a huge problem. I remember being bullied in this very school myself, so I have some personal experience with that. It's more than just putting posters on the wall and everybody talking a good game. We need resources. We need safe places for these kids to go and to talk to people so that the cycle can stop. And one of the things we need to do is, who are these bullies? Because obviously they're doing this for a reason. It's not just the kids that are being victimized. It might be the victimizers we need to figure out and help them, because obviously they're in a cycle that needs to stop. It's one of those issues that is so important. Fearing going to school, how can you be educated in a school where you don't want to be there? I can't imagine that. So, as a member of the school board, that would be one of my main concerns, is making sure that we're addressing bullying in the district.
Thank you. Mr. Quaintance?
I think any school, bullying is not limited to Malacca. The school's aware that we have bullying. They've got an anti-bullying program that's in place. I think part of that is about educating kids about what it is to be bullied, what it is to recognize that, and for other students to somehow get engaged and hopefully prevent that from continuing. As a law enforcement officer, obviously it's a concern for us, and we are engaged with the school, and we're trying to stop that from being a continued problem. I'm not going to sit up here as a member of the board or a member of the Malacca Police Department and say that we are going to eliminate bullying in Malacca. I wish we could say that. It's just probably not a reality. It has to do with, we have to work on environment, make sure that kids feel able to go to staff, to parents, to neighbors, whoever they need to talk to, whether it's a pastor, let them know that they have a bullying issue going on. We've got a great staff here, and all the staff I know that if they know somebody's is being bullied, they're going to engage the problem. They're going to bring it to the admin's attention, and I know for a fact that they take it on head on. It's going to be something that we're going to continue to need to work on, and I don't have all the answers right now. I think the Malacca schools have started down a good path. We added another counselor this year, one more person for our kids to be able to reach out to, and I really believe that's what every adult in this building needs to be, is that if somebody needs to connect, there's a lot of adults here that they can connect with. So it will continue to be a focus of the district.
Thank you. Mr. Parkos?
Yeah, bullying has been a very big issue in our school, and I think some of the training that's been going on has been helpful. However, a lot of it needs to come down to the parents. Parents need to be educated. What's going on at home? How can they reach out to, as Todd said, pastors, school administrators, teachers, people that they're comfortable with talking with about the issue and what's happening. We need to address it all the way down to the family level. And whether that's more counselors or, whatever retail program that needs to occur, education is a huge part of that, and that family reach out. And if we can start to accomplish some of those things, we've done some great strides towards it, but we need to continue down those paths. And if we can continue that, then maybe we can help reduce it. And sometimes I don't think there's any way we can ever eliminate it, because sometimes things come up at schools where, bullying sometimes just happens, and whether it's, whatever the cause is, nobody really knows, but, I don't think we'll ever eliminate all of it, but, we can do the best that we can to help train, teach people, and try to educate families and kids and try to eliminate as much as we can.
Thank you. Mrs. Plummer?
Great, thank you. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege of meeting with a teacher, Colleen Bell, who's in charge of the Oveus anti-bullying program, and I got a deep dive to really understand the program. And one thing that I came out of that meeting, so proud that Malacca was one of the first communities in the state, before there was a mandate, to implement an anti-bullying policy and an anti-bullying program like Oveus. It's got statistics behind it, it's got research, it's data-driven. It's still in its infancy, but I think it's a great start for the community to be, and for the school to have invested in such a program, which they got through a grant initially and now have continued to invest in. And I think it is a good base for the community a good base to address the anti-bullying, the bullying issue. As a school board member, I would continue to invest in these types of programming. The other great thing that I just learned also is that the high school just added an additional counselor, and I was so shocked to hear that on average every day 9 students were being turned away from the counselor's office in the high school because of a capacity issue. And with the investment of 1 additional counselor, as of the last school board meeting, they presented and said that not 1 student had been turned away. And these are for non-academic reasons. These are kids who are suffering and who are hurting. And what a great resource that the community can give to them to have access to these types of services within the school district. So I say more investment like that. How do we get to the root of the problem? Creating a culture in a community where we incentivize parents and the community to get involved for the benefit of our kids.
Thank you. Mrs. Nelson?
I want to kind of second what Mr. Quainton said about the Oveus program at the school. I think it's a fantastic way to really get the kids involved and help them understand what bullying is and what an issue it is. I also took the opportunity to meet with Superintendent Trubach to kind of learn a little bit more about the program. I hear it from our kids when they come home from school about, they had tie-dye Tuesday for bully awareness, or, do different things throughout the year to kind of bring awareness to it. But he gave me a presentation that they had done, I don't know if it was earlier in the year for the school board or for the staff or what have you. And I was shocked and actually amazed that, over the years, it seems to me that people are just more aware of it, or they are more comfortable telling people about it. So I think that's why you hear so much about bullying, is because people are more open about it and they talk about it more. For example, I'm just going to pull off some data here from this presentation, so forgive me for the numbers, I kind of like numbers. But, in 2013, the percentage of students that actually told someone that they were being bullied was, 32%. In 2018, just 5 years later, it was 42%. So they're telling more, and they're trying to reach out to these people and tell them that there's an issue. So I think there's just more of an awareness, which is a good thing. I'm glad students are speaking up and telling someone, but I think that's why we're seeing it as more of an issue, because it's more well-known. And not only that, but I think some of the issue is also social media based. Not all the bullying happens at school here where teachers can do something about it. These phones and these devices that we have, that our kids have, they're so easy to snap a picture or say something mean to someone, and it just goes away. And so I think we see a lot of bullying outside of just in our hallways, in our classrooms.
Thank you. Mr. Dane?
Well, I pretty much have to agree with what Todd said and the other panel members tonight. It's something we've been working on, and I know that the parents may seem like that there's not much progress, but we actually have made some, as should be mentioned. It is a problem that needs to partly be solved at home with proper discipline and awareness, and we have to provide, kids have to have an environment at home where they're willing to report it to their parents. And then the parents need to let the staff and the administration know what's going on. And so we can solve the problem and as board members support that. Bullying is hard to see, and I, from a teaching perspective, and if I have to look down the hallway, the kids are really good. As soon as I walk back in my classroom, paper starts flying, things start going, words are said, things are pushed, maybe shoved, and we can't see that. So that's where you need fellow students to help report and to encourage people that are being bullied to get help, or at least to try to stop it when it's occurring in front of them. I think the most scary thing is the cyberbullying, like she was saying down there, that we just can't get away from it, and it's something that, again, if they don't report it, we can't do anything about it. So it's going to take a team effort to get this done. It's not just a person or another counselor, it's all of us that have to treat each other as we like to be treated. So, with that.
Thank you. Mr. Hillary?
I have, when I think about this bullying issue, I really have to learn, in a sense, more about it. I look at history and I go back to the principal at the Dunbar School, Mary Jane Patterson. If there was a person that was going to have bullying in her school, she was it. Segregated America, students with families that had next to no money. The kids came to school in rags, and what she did, I don't believe was a bullying problem, but because she exercised discipline. The kids knew what the rules were, you broke the rule, you got it. But in Malacca, and I might be wrong about this, but I understand that there was a kid that was caught with some marijuana and was expelled. Then another time, a kid was choking another one, got a 2-day suspension. So, I mean, what's the continuum on discipline in the school? We have probably, and I know there was my boys when they attended here, there was a teacher that was using marijuana. There are people in this community that are promoting having it legalized. And if a kid has it, he gets expelled from school. So, you know, the other kid getting choked, well, what is that, the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony? Discipline is what's going to help solve the problem. You're never going to get rid of it. Just like you're never going to end poverty. You're going to have people who come out of poverty, because poverty, in a sense, just like wealth, is elastic. So my thought is that we need to look at, the kids need to know what the rules are, and the rules have to be absolutely exercised.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Sarsi?